Hello mathematicians. Today we see one very important problem from CSIR exam. It is asked in 2012 June, and many this problem has been repeatedly asked, and you can see many similar problems also. So let's see very conceptually all the details. Which of the following is true? That is what it is asked. They are given four numbers, complex numbers, and you are asked to say whether it is algebraic over Q or algebraic over some field or not. Okay, so to approach this kind of problems, we need some very basic results regarding algebraic numbers. So once you know them, then not just these numbers, yeah, in future if they give any different number also over different field also, you can solve similar problems. So let me tell them about that results, and it will be very useful. Okay, so if you like my videos, please like this video also, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you. Let's start with the definition of algebraic numbers. So what is an algebraic number? So you take a complex number alpha, it is said to be algebraic number, okay, if it satisfies a non-zero polynomial over rational numbers. Okay, so a complex number is said to be an algebraic number if it satisfies a non-zero polynomial over Q. There is a more general definition that requires the notion of field extents. Suppose K is a field which contains another field F, then we say K is a field extension of the field F, and you take alpha belongs to K. This alpha is said to be algebraic over the smaller field over F if alpha satisfies a non-zero polynomial over the smaller field F. Okay, and that is algebraic. This is algebraic number, particularly means complex number satisfies a non-zero polynomial over Q. Okay, for example, any rational number is an algebraic number because it satisfies this polynomial x minus p by q. It is clearly a polynomial with a rational coefficient. Therefore all the rational numbers are algebraic numbers. There are irrational numbers which are algebraic numbers. For example, root 2, or you can take a root 10. There will be algebraic because they satisfy the polynomial x square minus n in general. Okay, so let's collect set of all algebraic numbers that we denoted by a. Then one can prove that it form a field. It means that if alpha is a algebraic number, then alpha inverse is also an algebraic number. If alpha and beta are algebraic numbers, then their sum is also algebraic. Similarly, if alpha and beta are algebraic, then their product is also algebraic. Okay, it is a very important result. Please check topics in algebra Ian Hestin, where he has proved this fact very nicely. Set of all algebraic numbers form a field. Okay, please learn the subject concept wise. Read the proofs also. That will be very helpful. That way only you can appreciate the subject. That is the way to learn mathematics. Okay, let's continue. Let's see what is transcendental numbers. So transcendental numbers are simply opposite of algebraic numbers. Okay, complex number which are not algebraic. Okay, in complex number you remove algebraic numbers, the remaining elements are we call transcendental numbers. So e, pi, these are all some known transcendental numbers. uh, in many interviews they will ask you to prove e is transcendental. There are very simple proofs are there for transcendence of e. So see those proof also, it will be very interesting. And for proof of pi, one should read at least once. It is very informative proof. Okay, yeah. Now, next one interesting fact is it is not, many numbers are not known whether it is algebraic or not. Even some numbers are there, it is not known whether it is even an irrational number. Okay, so definitely one thing is clear. Transcendental implies irrational. Okay, because rational numbers cannot be uh, transcendental, but the converse, irrational number doesn't mean transcendental. We saw the example that root 2 is a irrational which is not transcendental, it is algebraic. Okay, so that is one important fact. So in particular, this number e, I mean, in a different context, this number e plus pi, it is not known whether it is algebraic or transcendental. Okay. Okay. Some examples of transcendental numbers, it's better you know, so that in the future exam it will be very helpful. E power a, you take a to be any non-zero algebraic number, then e power a will be always transcendental. Okay, so for example, e power root 2 is a transcendental number. Okay, then pi is a transcendental number. This is called Littleman-Weierstrass theorem. It is very very important theorem. Please check the proof at least once. It will be very very informative proof. One should have a look at it. Okay. So then e power pi is called Gelfand's constant. That is e power pi is it is proved to be transcendental. And e power minus pi by 2, that is same as I power I. If you evaluate I power I using taking the logarithm, and if you simplify, you will get e power minus pi by 2. And it is called, so this is transcendental. Okay. It follows from Gelfand-Snyder's theorem. Now, a power b is transcendental if a is any algebraic number not equal to 0 and not equal to 1, and you take any b irrational algebraic number, then this number will be always transcendental. For example, 2 power root 2, it is called Gelfand-Snyder's constant. 2 power root 2 is transcendental. It looks like you might think it is algebraic, but no. Okay, so e power algebraic is transcendental, but 2 power irrational is I mean 2 power irrational also transcendental. Okay. Okay. Similarly, you take sin a, cos a, tan a, cosec a, sec a, cot a, where a is a non-zero algebraic number. You have to express it in the radians. Okay. Then all these numbers are transcendental numbers. Then log to the base a, where a is an algebraic number not equal to 0 and not equal to 1. This log to the base e of a is always algebraic. It is proved to be algebraic. Then log b a, where a b are natural number, a and b are not powers of same integer. If you take such a and b, then log a to the base b is an algebra. It is a transcendental number. This is a transcendental number. Okay. Similarly, this gamma function evaluated at some rational numbers are also known to be transcendental. Just to check in the Wikipedia about transcendental number, there is huge results and very many examples and interesting facts are given about transcendental numbers. Okay. Okay, so let's start our program. Our problem. I hope you understand the concept of algebraic numbers little bit through our definition and many examples. Okay, so which of the following is true? So it is a part C problem. First, it is given that sine 7 degree is algebraic over Q. So it is given degree. That is one thing to notice. So first we have to convert degree to radians. Okay, how to convert degree to radians? 1 degree equal to pi by 180 radians. That one thing to remember. Then sine 7 degree equal to sine 7 pi by 180. Now you consider this number e power I 7 pi by 180. I am raising it to power 360. Okay. Why I am taking 360? This is 360 will be twice 180. We will see why we need it twice. Okay. So e power I pi 7 e power I 7 pi by 180 power 360 equal to, by De Moivre's theorem, this 360 will come here. I mean this is just I mean we don't need a De Moivre's theorem. If you just multiply, this 360 will come here. So we get a 360 and 180 will cancel. You get a 2 times 7 pi. It is e power I 14 pi. But what we know is e power I 2 pi. Okay, this is equal to 1. Okay, therefore e power I 14 pi will be like this power 7. So we get 1. Okay, therefore we conclude that this number e power I 7 pi by 180 satisfies the polynomial x power 360 minus 1. X power 360 minus 1. Therefore, this number is an algebraic number. Okay. Now, if we know that e power I 7 pi by 180 equal to cos 7 pi by 180 plus I sin 7 pi by 180. And this number is algebraic because we shown that this number satisfies the polynomial x power 360 minus 1. Okay. Now, if you look at e power minus 7 pi by 180, this is cos 7 pi 180 minus I sin 7 pi by 180. Okay. When you put minus, cos is a even function, so this minus will go. You will get only cos 7 pi 180. If you put a minus here, sin is an odd function, so this minus will come here. So you get cos 7 pi by 180 minus I sin 7 pi by 180. But this number is just the complex conjugate of this number. Okay. So this is a polynomial over rational numbers. In particular, it is polynomial over real numbers. Okay. Coefficients are real numbers. We know that complex roots occurs in pairs. Okay. Whenever z is a root for a real polynomial with real coefficient, its conjugate is also a root. Okay. Or you just simply put this number and you do the same calculation, you will get 1. Both are same. Therefore, these two numbers are algebraic. We saw that algebraic numbers form a field. Therefore, sum of algebraic numbers is algebraic. Difference of two algebraic numbers is algebraic. So, uh, if you subtract if you subtract this number from this number, what will you get? You will get so this minus this, you will get this thing will cancel. You will get I sin 7 pi 180 plus I sin 7 pi 180. You get 2 times I sin 7 pi by 180 is algebraic, because sum of two algebraic numbers is algebraic and the difference of two algebraic numbers is algebraic because they form a field. So now 2i is an algebraic number. Okay. Because it satisfies the polynomial x square plus 4. Okay. Is that correct? 2i, what will you get? 2i square equal to minus 4. Correct. Therefore, 2i is algebraic. Therefore, 1 by 2i is 1 by 2i is also algebraic. If you multiply 1 by 2i with 1 by 2i with this number, you will get sine 7 pi 180. Okay, therefore sine 7 pi by 180 is algebraic. So you see that the set of all algebraic numbers form a field is very helpful. Because of that only we have removed this 2i from here. Okay, therefore sine 7 pi by 180 is algebraic. Similarly, if you instead of you subtract, if you add these two numbers, you will get these numbers will cancel. You get 2 times cos 7 pi by 180 is algebraic. This implies that since 2 is algebraic, and 1 by 2 is algebraic, so 1 by 2 times this will give you cos 7 pi 180 is algebraic. Okay. Okay. So therefore we conclude that this we just want sine 7 pi by 180 is algebraic. Now sine 7 pi by 180 is nothing but sine 7 degree. Okay. Therefore the first option is correct. Now second option is cos pi by 17. Like the same idea, whatever we did, we proved that cos 7 pi by 180 is algebraic, right? Use the same idea, you can prove that cos pi by 17 is also algebraic. So you have to again you have to consider e power I pi by 17. Then you raise it to the suitable power, maybe like 34. It will be 1. Okay, so from that you can do the same work. You will get that cos pi by 17 is algebraic. Okay. Now let's come to the third option. Sine inverse of 1 is algebraic. So what is sine inverse of 1? It is not a single value, it is set of values. Okay. So if you are going for CSR exam, you should remember the sine curve and the cos curve, tan curve also very clearly. It's just remembering these curves will help you in answering many problems. So if you look at the sine curve, when it takes the value 1, so this is 1, this is minus 1. Okay, so the maximum of sine curve is maximum can go up to 1, minimum is always up to minus 1, and it is a function with period 2n pi. Okay, therefore at pi by 2, sine pi by 2 is 1. Therefore, if you add 2n pi to pi by 2, at all those values it will be 1. Okay. Therefore, sine inverse of 1 equal to 2n pi plus pi by 2. So if you take a pi common, you will get set of all pi times 2n plus 1 by 2 such that n belongs to z. Okay. Now it is a simple exercise to prove that this number is uh, transcendental. So in general, if you take a x and r, okay, so you take X is transcendental and R is algebraic. If you add them, the result will be always transcendental. Why? Suppose this is algebraic. So we assumed that X is transcendental, R is algebraic. Suppose their sum is algebraic, then we know that R is algebraic and X plus R is algebraic. Their difference you will get X. Okay, so X will be algebraic. That is not true. X is transcendental. Therefore, yeah. Therefore, algebraic number plus a transcendental number will always be transcendental. Similarly, you take X to be transcendental, R to be rational number, and again this is X series will be again transcendental. Okay, why? Because suppose X again like now you take R to be non-zero algebraic number, otherwise the product will be zero. Now suppose XR is algebraic, okay, then one since R is algebraic, 1 by R is also algebraic. If XR is algebraic, then XR times 1 by R will give you X is algebraic, but X is transcendental number. That's what we start with, right? Therefore, XR cannot be algebraic. That is a conclusion. So if you add yeah, algebraic number to a transcendental number, it will remain transcendental. If you multiply a non-zero algebraic number to a transcendental number, it remains transcendental. Now you can, this is a rational number, so rational numbers are algebraic, but this is transcendental. So rational times non-zero algebraic is transcendental. Therefore, all these numbers are transcendental. So we conclude that sine inverse of 1 is not algebraic over Q. Okay. Next, root 2 plus root pi is algebraic over Q of pi. Okay. Let's see why it is true. So now again like root 2 plus root pi satisfies the polynomial x square minus pi over the field Q of pi. Okay. Note that Q of pi contains pi. Therefore, x square minus pi is a polynomial over this field. Again, root 2 is a number. Root 2, so root pi satisfies this polynomial. Root 2 satisfies this polynomial. Therefore, these two numbers are algebraic over this field. Okay, algebraic this over this field. Again, by the same argument, sum of two algebraic numbers is algebraic. Okay, therefore, their sum will be algebraic over this field. Therefore, root 2 plus root pi is algebraic over Q of pi. Okay. So please check the proof why sum of two algebraic numbers is algebraic, product of two algebraic numbers is algebraic. It will be very interesting proof. Okay. Okay. So I hope you learned something. If you think you learned something new from this video, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.